Hey, everybody, this is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with us today Dennis Thankachan, who's the CEO of Lightyear. Dennis, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on, Doug.
Well, this is a really exciting podcast. We're going to be actually sharing some exciting new products from Lightyear, specifically designed for the enterprise community. We often don't get that. A lot of stuff is for the partners and MSPs lately, but this is directed right to our enterprise readers. So, Dennis, before we dive into the new products and innovations you've got for us today, what is Lightyear?
Of course. So Lightyear is a software product for the enterprise. And what it does is it automates how you buy and manage your enterprise telecom services. So things like your internet connections, WAN services, co-location, and voice. And we leverage what's the best proprietary data set in the industry to ensure that you're always getting the best outcome driven by software without having to do the work. So what we cite is that enterprises who utilize Lightyear are saving 70% of the time they'd spend on telecom procurement and 20% or more on the cost side. And today we have a lot of enterprise customers who are seeing those benefits.
And then you've basically upped your game with 3 new products just recently announced. So walk us through these.
Absolutely. So historically, and when we first came on the Technology Reseller Podcast, we were primarily oriented around procurement. So basically buying new services. And we've now rounded out the full life cycle of telecom services for the enterprise with our new products. So first is our Network Inventory Manager. And this is effectively a holistic software system of record for your enterprise network that tracks what is in your network in a lot of detail, both configuration, cost details, IP details, and much more. And it automates a bunch of workflows for you, like MACD ticketing, reshopping services prior to renewal, so you benefit from cost optimization and a lot more. So you're set up for continuous and automated cost optimization. And this is actually offered for free for services that you procure via Lightyear, or for a SaaS fee if you'd like to onboard services that you didn't procure via our software. And next is our bill consolidation service. So our bill consolidation offering takes the pain away from managing a lot of telecom vendor invoices and service invoices by handling all your various telecom vendor payments and invoice auditing on your behalf. You just pay Lightyear one monthly consolidated bill that is simple and easy to understand and put together in the way that you would like in terms of, location-based cost allocation and such. And we will ensure on the back end that all your vendors get paid accurately, that invoices are audited for accuracy, and that vendors don't pull a fast one on you at any point in time, and that you never have an outage due to missed payments. Our software also provides you with robust and detailed reporting on the entirety of your expenses and how all of this spend aligns with your contracts. And then finally, we have the Lightyear API, which is not necessarily visible in the product, but it's very useful because now enterprises have the ability to push and pull information into Lightyear and out of Lightyear from other core enterprise systems that are important, like a ServiceNow or a Splunk. And you can see now across how, procurement, adding in the inventory management and automation around things like renewals and ticketing and such, and then bill payment plus API that ties in your other enterprise systems. You have the entire life cycle from RFP creation through to service termination and everything in between covered with one software product that both helps you buy it, acts as the system of record for it, and then helps you eventually disconnect services.
And Dennis, I understand you have for us today, we can actually get a glimpse of how this all looks.
Absolutely. I can give you a quick demo and would be excited to do so. So here you can see the Lightyear dashboard, which is effectively what you'd see upon login. And over here you could start a new quote or request an RFP, which is sort of the core offering from the past. But worth noting with regard to our new features, here is the Lightyear Network Inventory dashboard. So here you can see a representation of a hypothetical enterprise network, and we'll actually track each individual service in your network and give you a detailed representation of that service. So Here is, for example, an individual Zayo circuit. You can see here things like your account ID, circuit ID, location details, service costs, SLAs and such, IP address information, all kept in detail and up to date. Prior to expiry, you can automatically reshop services to make sure that you're taking advantage of potential cost deflation or cost optimization. You can place various types of tickets on the service, files, track service change log, take notes, and we'll keep that up to date on your behalf. We also have this inventory dashboard that will actually track everything that's coming up for expiry, potential disconnect, and will proactively put in front of you opportunities to save cost within your network by estimating potential savings on services that may be coming up for expiry, maybe out of term. And then we'll actually track any cost savings that are achieved to make sure that you're held accountable for staying on top of that as time goes on, and that everything is tracked and itemized on your behalf. So that was our network inventory manager that I briefly spoke about. And then here's our Lightyear bill consolidation service. And this basically takes the pain out of telecom bill payment and invoice management. So here you can see a representation of your actual monthly expenses, like dollars out every single month, month to month, recent telecom invoices, recent cost increases and such, and we'll give you granular service by service reporting in detail on the actual cost of your services, how they change month to month. And you can actually click into any service, see your actual hypothetical invoice, the line items that tie to that invoice, and we'll actually proactively audit every single invoice and make sure that your invoice is both digitized, track, and that any sort of missed payments or incorrect payments are tracked and seen through to resolution so that you're saving money and also that you don't have outages. And that ties into what's already a robust offering around procurement and lifecycle management. So that's effectively the quick demo right there.
So Dennis, we stay here for just a second. What I heard is you're really on top of what's happening. It simplifies the billing. I've got a really good, literally a global view of what's happening, how I'm spending my money. But I picked up on one thing that you said in passing, which is a lot of, especially in our era of telecom price deflation, you can kind of fall asleep on the actual price of services and the actual price you should be paying.
That is absolutely right. So a lot of enterprises will focus on point in time savings that are particularly labor intensive to capture, meaning like I'm going to look at my network this year and try to save 15%. And that's great. It takes a lot of work to get there, but the real long run savings are achieved not just by doing that point in time exercise, but doing so continuously every single month dynamically across your services, because service costs go down over time, services become obsolete over time, and there are always opportunities to either get more bang for your buck by getting more for the same cost, or by taking advantage of just deflating costs. And ideally, you can do that systematically and on an automated basis rather than having to do the labor intensive exercise of digging into each individual service and seeing what you can get away with either a vendor change or renegotiation. We'll do that automatically for you to capture all this on your behalf with systems for the long term.
So Dennis, how does this build on the work you've been doing up until now at Lightyear, and maybe a little bit of compare and contrast to what else is out there?
So the interesting thing is when we founded Lightyear, we founded this product because there was a big gap in the market. When enterprises are looking at options to buy and manage their network, particularly, especially configure RFPs and buy services, there aren't software products that exist. Enterprises are really vast majority doing this in-house. Maybe you're working with a channel partner, a consultant, an MSP, but you're not using software to do this. And our thought process is this is a game of workflow automation and data. And when it comes to workflow automation and data, computers will do this job better than my brain and my pen and paper can do this. And that's the whole thesis we've undergone with Lightyear. Today, there really aren't other software products that we get compared to. So it's really like most of the enterprises we're working with, we're replacing internal processes typically run out of spreadsheets the vast majority of the time. And it's surprising to see that's the case in 2024, but that's still what we deal with. And part of why the opportunity is so bright ahead of us.
Well, Dennis, I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been really interesting. Where can we learn more about Lightyear?
check us out at lightyear.ai. You can read a lot more about our products there. We also write lots of interesting content about technology and telecom overall.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing a follow-up podcast on that topic of telecom pricing deflation. Everyone's talking about it, but it looks like you guys at least have an action point for the enterprise community to sort of tackle this ongoing issue. But for now, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Doug.